Hey, look at there. You see him? Well, open your damn eyes in. It's the old-timey country down-home Red State Update podcast and them. Coming to you from a bunker underneath Jackie's Market in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And here they are, both of them.
Hey, yeah, welcome to Red State Update. This here Jackie Brawls.
Snakes, Gators, welcome to the Red State Update podcast. I am Dunlap. You remember me.
I do, yeah.
You can't quite, well, of course you do.
Well, if people, there may be, you always say there's somebody listening to this for the first time and you got to introduce yourself over and over and over again. But I think other people that listen to it, God help them on a regular basis, they get tired of this. They probably like how you hit the fast forward button or something to get through them saying the damn names over and over again.
That's the same kind of thinking that got rid of network sitcom theme songs.
What was it?
They used to have a theme song, the fucking Beverly Hillbillies.
Watch it. Well, we don't have a song.
Told you the story every week.
We don't have a damn song. That was a good, because if it's a good song, you don't care what story it's telling. A good song's a good song. You like to hear it. Half the time you forget it's about, my boyfriend this or my husband did that or whatever the hell it is. You just like, oh, that's a good song. That's all you think of. Beverly Hillbillies is one of those. Yeah, they tell a story over and over again. First off, good story. First off, right there, you like a book you reread again, maybe not a book, a TV show, or a movie you like. You know how Spider-Man gets to be Spider-Man, but you watch it over and over again because you like it. Same with Beverly Hillbillies. Spider-Man had a song too, didn't he?
He did.
Remember that song, yeah.
But he didn't. I guess that story, that story's in there too.
How many, now there used to be a bunch of TV shows that said this Gilligan's Island, tell the whole story, right?
That's what I'm saying. And you are coming on here saying, no, that's terrible. People want to fast forward through that.
We don't
People
sing
don't like the part.
There ain't no song to it. It's just you and I talking again and again. Song, you got to harmonize, you got a melody. People like a song. The song's good.
All I said was my fucking name. Now I got to write like Gilbert and Sullivan about. I said my name. Sometimes I say that you're a gross old man.
I said I know who you are, and most people know who you are because if they listen to this, I mean, it ain't like we got a bunch of new listeners every damn week. It's the same people. They don't need to hear it over and over again.
But now, you said I'm Jackie. You say I'm Jackie Brawls every week. It's Jackie Brawls and the mama. People don't even know what you're saying.
I'm done. Well, if they don't know what I'm saying, what does it matter what I say? They don't give a damn what you're saying. They like how you say it.
My name is Dunlap.
What other songs?
Welcome
no, don't
to
start.
The show.
No. If we're going to do this, do it right.
Jackie watched me as a young boy in his store sometime.
I ain't got no money to pay no local studio to do no songs after Cat Cuddling Club. I'm broke, but if you want to do it, and of course I know you ain't got no money.
Are you legally allowed to say Cat Cuddling Club? So you just first of all, I'm not allowed to introduce myself, but you just said Cat Cuddling Club, which took place over 10 episodes that we couldn't even explain to new listeners right now if we wanted to. You just threw it out there.
You started the comment
out there.
Look.
Write a song about that.
No, nobody wants to hear that. They didn't want to hear the little short song as it was. But I said I ain't got no money. Now, if you want to do a whole song like Beverly Hillbillies, at the beginning of this, we got to do it upright. We ain't just going to sit there and caterwaul on here and sound like a cat, it's in heat or whatever else hollering on here. Nobody wants to hear that. If you want to do a song, tell the story, then we got to do it right.
What percentage of Gen Z knows who the Beverly Hillbillies are?
You the one that brought them up. I didn't.
I'm just asking.
You brought them up. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying how many 17-year-olds know who the Beverly Hillbillies are?
Well, I don't know.
Are they on TikTok?
Listen, now here's the most recent thing I saw, and I don't know how the hell a computer works, but somebody said something about Trump supporters or whatever and whatnot. Somebody put a clip, or what do you call it? The thing it's real short. It shows the people move for a minute or less than that, seconds. It showed old Jed Clampett jumping up and down, and then somebody underneath that said, and they weren't Republican, they was liberal. They were saying, well, that's classism right there, what you doing. So if that's what Generation Z thinks of Beverly Hillbillies, so be it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, is it classism? Because they got the money and then they immediately moved to Beverly Hills and became part of the ruling class. I'm pretty sure that Gen Z on Twitter would be saying, get the guillotine for Granny.
Well, if that's the case, then so be it. The way I took it was they were saying, because it didn't have nothing to do with the money and going anywhere. It was a countryman, redneck, dancing up and down or something. Jed Clampett, jumping up and down all happy or something about something. And that's the point I took it as was a young liberal person saying, this is just you making fun of people or whatever like that. Now, I'm country. It seems like I'm the one who should be offended. But I wasn't at all. I said, oh, look, at Jed Clampett doing a dance. That's all I thought of it.
What kind of dance was he doing?
You know how he does it. Leg, it's Jed Clampett dance. What do you think? You never watched the Beverly Hillbillies?
He was supposed to be damn Tin Man.
Yeah, I know he couldn't do it. That made him break out. They put that silver on him.
Got sick.
Broke all out. Yeah, sick, broke out. Yeah, sick as hell. He found his right niche, Barnabas Jones, yeah.
So do you think they built a pipeline when the Clampetts found that oil and they just ruined the economy and probably ran it across some tribal lands? And Jed Clampett, everybody thinks so nice, probably like, I don't give a shit. Give me that money. We're getting the fuck out of here.
Hey,
I eat my last possum.
Well,
but he probably did eat possum on the show. He probably did eat.
Listen, at the time, all that stuff you mentioned wasn't much of a concern to anybody besides the actual people that were, that lived on the tribal lands. Other than that, as far as white people were concerned, they didn't know about it, didn't care anything about it at the time. It wasn't brought up. Now, nowadays, different. That's something that's good. It's different nowadays because, hey, wait a minute.
You're right, Jackie. People didn't know right from wrong back in the 60s.
Well, no, some of them knew it. They didn't know where the oil went through or whatever. I'm just saying.
Just get
not
away.
As many people. You didn't see it on the news. Wasn't nobody doing the news about saying Jed Clampett. If you tried to do that show today, sure, everybody be raising hell about it. And I ain't saying that's a bad thing. But at the time, didn't nobody think anything about it. Like, swimming pools, or, fancy cars. That was all that you needed.
That's why us members of Gen Z hate you boomers or silent generation.
Shut the hell. Plus, it was
Civil War survivors, whatever you are.
It wasn't Jed Clampett. He probably didn't know first thing about running a pipe or anything. He just found the black thing. It was Drysdale. The Drysdales had all the money. They did all the money stuff. It wasn't the Clampetts themselves, bless their heart. They were just innocent. Caught up in,
So you're saying that they're just... that the Clampetts are caught up in the system and that it's the Drysdales up at the top, that if we all banded together with I don't know, they have a mansion. Once you get a mansion, I don't know if you can just absolve yourself like that. Plus, it seems to me that if they made Beverly Hillbillies today, that Jed Clampett probably be like governor of Texas or something, ignoring everybody's freezing to death. He'd be like, well, as far as I can tell, good people of Texas like to freeze themselves to death 7 times over to keep federal government out of their hair. I don't know if I'm doing Buddy Ebsen or Jethro, but somewhere in between there. Jethro, definitely. Listen, our old buddy, didn't you endorse him at one point back in the news? Puts on glasses to look smart, but he still got like the Walmart tag on him, where he just picked up a pair of reading glasses.
Oh, Rick Perry, yeah.
Well, Rick Perry, your favorite.
We used to be, not no more after, Ukraine and everything else.
Rick Perry and Jethro Clampett. That is exactly a new. If we did like a Succession HBO version of Beverly Hillbillies for today, Jethro Clampett would be governor of Texas.
Probably so.
Drysdale would be pulling the strings.
He'd be into making a hell of a lot of money off that oil. I don't know where they're from Texas, where were they from? It says Texas Cruz. I guess they was from Texas, right?
No, I think this is
where were the Beverly Hillbillies from, is what I was saying on the old show.
I think they're from Texas. They're from the South. I used to know this.
I don't remember what it says. Texas Crew, though. It said they say Texas in the name, but they talk about the oil, not necessarily where they were.
I'm embarrassed that we don't know.
Well,
where Jed Clampett is from.
One of the many listeners that have to hear us introduce ourselves over and over again, I'm sure will straighten this out for us in no time once we put this thing up and read what they got to say. But if it were from Texas, he'd be making a hell of a lot more money off that oil than already, because they ain't got no regulations, right? Is that how it works? I don't know if it's with the oil, it's a regulation with how the power that enters it. So it ain't just windmills, it's all of it.
Yeah, the windmills are the problem. That's what Jed Clampett say. Well, I don't know. Granny be mad at the windmills. She'd be cooking up some sort of potion to unfreeze. Well, she wouldn't have no water, so how's she going to cook a potion?
Yeah.
Right, but she'd be in California. Look, we got to work on the show Bible, but I think we've got a good start. As soon as we find out where they grew up, where they lived, then we can come up with a song, and then we can compare it to the atrocities of today. And sorry, everybody in Texas, we do.
Well, hope there's a few people we know down there who I looked at on the computer, and thank goodness, I think the few people I know. Of course, I'm concerned about everybody, whether I know you or not. I think they was doing the power got put on, but we know there's a lot of people where it ain't, and they ain't no water either. So hopefully somebody do something besides blame windmills at some point.
Imagine being a Republican in Texas having to like Ted Cruz, because I think we're past the point in this country where you can be a Republican and not like your elected representatives. I think you have to circle the wagons, even if your nominee is Donald Trump or Ted Cruz. Fewer people like Ted Cruz and like Donald Trump. I mean, no one likes Ted Cruz.
No.
But you have to vote for him in Texas. He literally abandoned you to go to I don't know, where was he going? All-inclusive resort? Imagine that.
Yeah, Cancun going to take a family down there. He taking his children. He said, I did it for my children. And I don't know if anybody's ever looked at it. It's just readily available at your fingertips if you know how to work a computer. Watch any interaction between that man and his two daughters. Whether it's in a campaign ad or the news talk, just look at it. Of course, I ain't blaming his daughters. They treat them about like everybody else should. Too young to vote, so I would imagine they probably wouldn't even vote for him. But if you ever watch, they're flicking his nose, they're trying to get away from him. They don't want to have nothing to do with Ted Cruz. And God bless him. I hope they're doing okay. I don't mean to pick on each other. I'm just saying it makes sense. It's understandable. But he said his children, they were cold and they was freezing. And had to get on, had to get them out there. I'd do it any other dad who represented the entire state of Texas would do.
Imagine working a buffet, not because of how much you eat, just how big a problem he'd be. Ted Cruz coming through your buffet at the Moon Palace or wherever.
Yeah.
Like, bring me some fresh. I want some fresh. Everything just like kind of dude clicked his ring on a glass to get the waiters. Excuse me, did you? I think they're ignoring me. Pardon me, would you? Imagine. There had to be part of people in Texas going, well, Good, I guess. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. It's sort of like when there's something going wrong, like oh no, like Granny's sick. Oh, she passed out. We're waiting on the hospital, and everybody's there. Oh, like make her comfortable. Put a pillow under her head. All right, I'm gonna take her. I get a cold cloth. I'm gonna run to the store. Anybody need anything? Just in case she needs a Gatorade when she wakes up. There's always somebody just wants to run to the store just to get away from everything. There's a wreck on the highway. First people up there like, are they okay? We need to should we move them? I don't know if we're not supposed to move them. No, I'll just run down to the store in case anybody get them some water or something. Anybody need anything? I'll get a pack of cigarettes and some water in case they smoking or thirsty. Maybe some lifesavers, keep them from swallowing their tongue. You ever hear that?
Why?
That's what they would say. Ted Cruz is like, oh, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to run to Cancun and my daughters are cold or having a party or there's a group threat. I'm not sure. So I'll just, anybody need anything? And people are like, yeah, no, I'm good. Just you go on and, you go do that. Bring us a Gatorade back. He ain't going to do no good here. Let him go.
Yeah, him staying there now, they got pictures of him handing out water. And trust me, God love, giving water to people. People need it. But if you really wanted to go pick up some water because of the situation you're in, I'm pretty sure, which is a horrible situation, the last person you want to be handing that water to you is Ted Cruz at this point. Unless he get, I hope all the people getting it, it's okay to cuss him. I know he's giving you water now, but no, the only reason he is because, he just not, because he got caught running away. So he wouldn't have done it. So I'm telling all the people, yes, you're supposed to be grateful for people helping you out. Yes, you're supposed to take that water, take it home to your family, take care of people. But it ain't. I'm giving you my permission to say thank you very much. You're blankety blank, whatever, Ted Cruz. Feel free to cuss him while he puts that water in your trunk.
Just imagine him coming up to your car. Thirsty? Who's thirsty?
They've been through enough. Let him go to Cancun. I'm with you. Let him go. Do you reckon he thought, well, hell, everybody's power's out. They ain't going to be able to turn on the TV and see me down there relaxing or whatever. Is that what he thought, not knowing everybody got a damn phone in the hands or whatever?
I think for like one solid day, all that was going through his mind was Limbaugh Rock. And then he got caught and turn around. How low can you go? Well, we found out. Because even if he's given, I did for when everybody was wondering how he was going. They knew he was coming back, but we didn't know what he was going to say yet. It's like, what do you say? I was wondering. I was like, well, how do you, not that I care how much trouble he gets in or how dumb he looks or slimy covering it up. But it's like, what, is he better off to say, yeah, I just wanted to go to Cancun? I don't know.
I think that's kind of what he said, wasn't it?
I think basically that's where he wound up. He
didn't have anything else to say, I don't think. I mean, that was pretty much his wife, they saw something on her phone. Everybody saw that she's planning it and this and that. Yeah, I said, well,
that's not.
In hindsight, I think he said that a few times. It probably, maybe I shouldn't have, but, so be it. And he'll probably get elected again. I know he's got a while till he got to go, run again, but yeah. As if him, trying to rid the country of democracy or participating in that with the last president, all, doing the best to just, completely disregard how this country.
Even that alone.
Yeah. That's that.
Going to Cancun after that ain't great.
No.
That's not something you really want. But he doesn't care. So that's what we've learned from Trump. Really, he should have said, I don't know, AOC was going to Cancun. Well, AOC was going to Cancun. And people be like, yeah, I don't know why she's going to Cancun. She could have been down there when she was going down there to help. You just lie. You just covered up and you accuse the other person of what you were doing. Windmills went to Cancun.
By the way, she is in Texas right now.
She went down there today.
She went down there to help people out. And
but it doesn't matter. You just say that she went to Cancun and she went to Cancun all of a sudden in half of people's minds. That's what he should have done.
Yeah.
Should double down on it.
Well, give him time right now. After about 2 days, a lift
Why are we
water to
listening
put it
to
in
him?
someone's trunk. After 2 or 3 days, you watch him. He'll. You said he didn't care one way or the other. He cared a little bit that he had to end up doing this for 3 or 4 days. However long he's going to end up doing it.
Why is he even apologize? Why didn't he just say, "Yeah, well, you should watch how you speak to me, or I'll organize another revolution"? Like, why didn't he just say that? Next time, I'll kill all of you. Why didn't he say that? That would probably make him more popular.
It'd be better. As awful as that is, and I'd prefer no one say that, let alone an elected official who openly participated in the idea of that.
Listen, he's been down there handing people water through a window for 2 days, sweating through shirts. I guarantee you right now, even 20 degrees, he's sweating through his shirts, and he's saying to himself, instead of helping constituents, why don't I just try to overthrow the government? I don't think this is a joke, really. I think in his mind, he's like, it was a lot easier for me just to align myself with the violent insurrectionists. I didn't have to give nobody no water, and I'd be in Cancun right now.
Yep.
If we'd kicked Biden out of the White House and took him to the gallows, so I'd be on vacation. Our party'd be in power, and I would not be lifting things. So that's a win-win-win as far as Ted Cruz is concerned. That's how he talks about himself. So I don't know why Republicans don't have ideas. They don't have policy they want to implement. All they want to do is hang on to power. They're just trying to get back to the power. And the way that they hold on to that power is through being white supremacists, because they're keeping everybody who ain't white people, white Republicans, out of power. That's all they got. They don't have any plans.
That's
got to figure out all this shit. All they want to do is like lock brown people up and stay in power. That they go together. It goes together.
They do go together. The only thing
for Republicans.
The only thing that Republicans have planned right now is finding out new ways to keep Black Americans from voting. That's you go to all these states, governor. That's what's on. That's it right there.
That's
Abortion, sure, yeah, the same old usuals. Yeah, of course. Not that keeping black people from voting ain't the same old usual. Of course it is. But after this last election, they're gonna try extra hard. Gonna do everything they can. That's it.
And trying to get people to want to freeze to death. That's part of it too. Like wanting them to burn, freeze, drown, blow away, get bombed in downtown Nashville. Like those things, they want people to be okay with that, with no response. They want people to say, no, this is what it takes to be a real American. We don't want people coming to our rescue. That way they get to keep, they don't tax people. So they get I don't want black people enjoying my tax dollars. I don't want my tax money going to help anybody who ain't me. So by not helping people who are freezing to death and by letting the natural gas pipes freeze over and letting people not have any water, they get to A, not do anything, which is great because they don't know how to do nothing except cling to power, and B, they get to not do anything because they don't know how to do anything except cling to power. And there's probably a C. Oh, they don't have to do anything because they don't know how to do anything except cling to power. I mean, they don't know how to do anything. The whole fact of being a Republican these days is just fooling yourself into being okay with getting shit on. You can't go to the hospital. You can't unfreeze. You can't put yourself out of being on fire. That's probably a better way to phrase that. You have to be proud that you just burn up in a forest fire because you don't want the federal government in your life. Because if the federal government comes into your life, they help black people. Vote Trump 2024.
Can't have no regulations. Don't want no regulations on the power there. That's the federal government coming in. Don't want to do it. Just not last month. Just one representative, trying to, secede again. That every time there's a Democrat president, Texas is going to secede. Somebody going to try to anyway. At least bring it up. It's a conversation that they have regularly.
Yeah. Well,
now, of course, they need Joe Biden to go down there and Joe Biden evidently is on the phone all the time with Abbott talking to him. Ain't no Abbott cuss him here and there, but he on the phone trying to get as much help as he can. But half of the money that they end up giving to Texas is going to pay for people's electric bills, which are $14,000, $7,000, $4,000, all this. You don't want it regulated. Don't regulate nothing. So Texas ain't gonna pay no tax or nothing else, but the rest of the damn country gonna pay, which to pay for people's damn electric bill.
Yeah, your light bill's gonna be $15,000 in taxes, just trying to keep the slightest bit heat on. Meanwhile, somebody in I don't fucking know, Silicon Valley mining Bitcoin, got like 90 computers in there. Like they're fine.
Yeah.
But we're gonna pay the light bill of $15,000 gritty. We gotta pay gritty.
It's people gritty. People in the middle of a pandemic, ain't got no water, electricity all turned off, and then they go check their bank accounts and everything's been drained. The savings been drained, every bit of money they got for electricity that they ain't getting.
Look, I don't want to sound like a Bernie bro either, but I mean, it's kind of like just getting sick. I mean, why is electricity supposed to be affordable, which it ain't really, and getting sick ain't? I mean, none of it makes any sense. You shouldn't be paying $15,000. I mean, really, should we be paying $15,000 for anything except maybe a boat? If you're the Clampetts, Beverly Hills, going to Lake Beverly Hills, tooling around in that damn boat, going, look at here, woo-wee, Jethro. I don't know how he talks.
You and me don't know how Jethro talks.
No, I know how. I'm just trying to do Jed. I can't do it good.
Oh, Jethro, yeah.
Ooh-wee, Jed. Very understated, very subtle, very subtle.
Yeah, he's subtle. That's the whole thing of that show is that, look, at the ignorant people are smarter than everybody else. That's what that show, that was a message it had. Give them as much money as you want. They're still going to be humble. Bless their hearts.
They are about like Trump supporters because they look like ignorant rednecks, and then they've got like a bajillion fucking dollars.
Hey, watch your mouth, but yeah.
Their truck that they showed up to the Trump rally and cost as much as a Texas electric bill. But those people in Texas, the politicians, they're not in any trouble, right? They're fine. Abbott.
Oh, yeah.
All of them are just going to be fine.
It didn't look like it was for Cruz. It looked pretty bad for a couple of days. But how many times have things looked bad to him? Remember, he got up and read Dr. Seuss, shut down the government for how many days so he could read the Dr. Seuss book. I mean, something like this has happened to Ted Cruz pretty regular. I shouldn't even know who the hell he is, be honest. I don't live in Texas. But he made damn sure well that I do know. The president, the ex-president, thank God, former president, pretty much told me that his daddy killed Kennedy and his wife was ugly. That's pretty much, all these things. I can't remember, when is the last time anybody said anything good about Ted Cruz, what he'd done? Been hearing about it for how many years now? 10 years? I don't know. All of it, ain't none of it good.
He is well known as America's biggest asshole.
Yeah.
It is clearly documented that no one likes him on either side of the aisle. Texans, I'm just going to assume even Republicans hate him, but the Republicans have to vote for him, and he very well could become president in the future, despite being America's best-known asshole, merely because he's the Republican candidate, and no matter who the Democrat candidate is, Republicans, Americans are used to saying at this point, well, yeah, Ted Cruz is America's best known asshole, but I mean, I can't vote for Hillary. I can't vote for that Democrat. Joe Biden, he's got dementia. Bernie Sanders is a communist. They're all communists. Beto O'Rourke's a communist.
Oh, yeah.
Mayor Pete's a communist, unless you're on Twitter, and then I don't know what he's cringe. I'm not sure.
I ain't on there, so I don't know.
You know who started a lot of this?
Who's that?
Well, I guess you go back to the 60s. But in the 90s, he started a lot of this. He died. Did you hear he died?
Rush Limbaugh. Yeah.
Rush Limbaugh died. He really did a good job of framing all this as Democrats are evil, going to eat you up monsters.
Oh, yeah.
You can never vote for them. Sure, we got assholes. I mean, he was kind of one of America's best known assholes. People liked him for that.
I guess it's some sort of achievement because I guess Tucker Carlson's holding the mantle for that now. Yeah, that's what they do.
There are people that this is becoming clear to me as we talk about this. There is a long chain of assholes that is the Republican Party. Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
Roger Ailes, Fox News. A lot of assholes on there. Not all of them, but I mean, some people's gimmick is that they are an asshole. There are a lot of Republicans whose whole thing is just that they're famous Republican politicians and talking heads who are just known. Tucker Carlson, he's an asshole. Do people sit around going, I love Tucker Carlson? Trump was different. Somehow he got people, half the people knew he was an asshole, were okay with that voted for him. The other half thought that, like, all those pictures of him, like, with Jesus, and they're driving around in a convertible, you know, like you get at the Christian bookstore, like it's Trump and Jesus in a car or playing golf or whatever. They really thought Trump, delivering the horse babies. What do you call a horse baby?
Wow.
Calf. What do you call a horse baby?
Horse.
Calf.
Pony.
A pony. Delivering a little pony.
What do you call it? I had a farm in years.
All them famous pictures of Trump with his arms up in a horse delivering that pony, they think that Trump was really trying to help them. It had a big heart. That, I don't know which is worse. If you believe that Trump had a big heart, it was trying to help you, or if you know that he was America's best known asshole, the other one, and voted for him then too. Rush Limbaugh, there was just a time when he was just sitting, I like to smoke cigars and get all the money and tax breaks. Look at loose women. Whatever he said.
A newborn horse is a foal. I knew it was a foal. That's it. And then when it's a year old, it's a yearling. That's what it is. After it's a year, it's a yearling. And then from there on, I guess it goes to be a pony after that. Foal.
Well, you got the encyclopedia out?
No, I just remember, I got my horse books. I always got a horse book no matter where I'm at.
Does it say in there where Jed Clampett was from?
It don't have nothing about Jed Clampett. It's got a horse. It's horses on it.
I'm pretty sure Ellie Mae brought a horse in that house at one time or another.
I'm sure that she did, but at the same time, it wasn't about the horse. It wasn't a horse. It got, which that's a good show, too, if a horse won, a lot of struck oil and moved to, Beverly Hills, wherever a horse moves to is good. Mr. Ed had to hide, they kept him in the garage or wherever it was.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't allowed to talk in front of nobody else. Didn't want him to do that. But
yeah, because why? Because he probably, I want to solve homelessness. Had to keep his mouth shut.
Oh, yeah.
It ruined the whole thing.
But if it won a bunch of money or inherited it or struck oil or whatever the hell, he could have done whatever he wanted. Horse, I hold all the cards or what have you says,
Another thing on Beverly Hillbillies, I feel this may just be my own problem, but I feel like the family tree was confusing to me a little bit. Did everybody else have this problem? I feel like I'm doing a stand-up set on Merv Griffin, like it's 1982, and I'm talking about who the fuck was Jethro's father. Well, you couldn't cuss on Merv Griffin. Well, Merv might have laughed. He might have laughed in private. Well, who was like Jethro Bodine, his mama Pearl? You remember Pearl come on there sometimes? Who's Granny? Whose Granny was she? She wasn't Jed's mother. Was she his mother-in-law?
Maybe mother-in-law.
That's confusing. That's dark shadow shit.
Well,
Why don't they just say everybody's in the damn family?
Because you get in trouble there if you talk about the South. Years and years, people make jokes about that and married your cousin and all this stuff. So, you need to keep that. Not address it so people don't start going there. You know what I mean?
Look up Ellie Mae, see if she's in there. I bet she's in there. Go to the index.
Right.
Go to the
in
index.
the horse book, it ain't got none of them in the horse. It's about horses. It's pictures of horses and a few things about them. That's, it still staying in that pandemic, it makes me remember. Of course, I ain't had a horse since I was a young, and I was, 12, 14 years old last time we had a horse. That was a long time ago for me. Long time ago. I got good memories of it, yeah.
What was his name?
Mickey Mouse a horse. Never will forget his name. Mickey Mouse a horse, yeah.
Dolly Parton does not want a statue of her in Tennessee. They keep trying to find ways to take the focus off the fact they got a Ku Klux Klan statue in the state house up in Nashville. So I wanted to put up this Dolly Parton picture, and I think people probably all forget about the Klan statue. And then later, maybe we can just sneak it out in the middle of the night, and we won't lose no votes. And when the racists come up here and say, "We just wanted to say we sure are proud we voted for you," hey, where's that Klan statue? We'll be like, Klan? What in the hell? Get security. Somebody come in here and stole our Klan statue. That's our best plan. That's what we're going to go with. Okay. So get started on that Dolly Parton statue. And then Dolly Parton's like, hell no, you ain't dragging me in this Klan statue bullshit. Y'all work this shit out and come to me when I'm dead about putting up a statue.
You're not in good company when Tennessee won't make a statue of you. Let just say right now, that's almost an insult.
Dolly Parton like, make a statue of me? Fuck you.
Hey.
I got statues of me. I built a fucking theme park to me.
There are plenty of pictures.
I don't need a statue. What?
Yeah. I'm about to say plenty of pictures, statues, everything else there.
Yeah,
and
I got it.
Go all over Dollywood. Yeah, ain't no place where you don't see it.
I took care of myself. It's called Dollywood. Maybe you've heard of it. Don't drag me into this. I got statues stuck in the damn storage unit with the signage from the old Dixie Stampede. I got so many statues of me, I can't keep them up. I cover the whole damn Smoky Mountains of statues of me.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Thanks, but no Dolly Parton statue. Maybe they'll put up a Rush Limbaugh statue now that she said no.
I'm sure he's all. Yeah, he don't have a problem with that. Put whatever you want.
Yeah, he'd be fine. He's in hell. There's plenty of statues of him where he is now. Is it fine? Like, I'm not saying I'm happy. That's a different thing. People say, "Oh, you shouldn't be mad."
Well, people ask me.
People die.
People ask me that, says, "Oh, you don't, since you're liberal now, Jackie, or whatever, the independent, whatever you think you are, you must be glad he dead." I said, "No, I ain't glad he dead. I'm glad he's off the radio. If that's what gets him off the radio, then so be it. Maybe I am a little bit, but it ain't about him being alive or dead. It's that he's not having to hear his damn voice anymore." I don't know. A lot of people out there like to hear him say what he says about women, which is awful. I ain't even going to try to repeat it on here. Like what he says about, just racist as could be. People like that sort of thing as we've come to learn over the years. He got a medal. President, excuse my language, former president, excuse my language, shit, gave him a medal of freedom or whatever the hell it was for saying all that stuff. Now, he come before Fox News. He was the first one to be basically what we're saying, how big of a butthole can I be to control the Republican Party, pretty much. That's it. Like, how big a butthole can you be? Ted Cruz probably thought, well, hell, I go to Cancun. They'll even think I'm a butthole. If they got everybody thinking I'm a butthole, then so be it.
Ted Cruz is a Rush Limbaugh part of his legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Rush Limbaugh, he's showed the world like, oh, look, here's what it is to be a Republican. Even down to Stephen Miller, even down to some of these, like, just be the worst person you can be and try to turn it into a joke. And accept it's serious the whole time. And I think Ted Cruz saying, oh, I can say whatever. I can just be. I have a sense of humor about being the worst person in the world and doing terrible, trying to hurt America. And it doesn't work for everybody. I will give Rush Limbaugh. I mean, I don't know who I'd rather spend time with. if I had to spend time with somebody in a golf shirt, would it rather be Rush Limbaugh or Ted Cruz? I'm probably going to say Rush Limbaugh. It's hard to Donald Trump or Ted Cruz. You got to talk to him for an hour. Fuck, I don't know. Donald Trump really had people violently attempting to make him a dictator. But I mean, Ted Cruz is helping. It's not like you're really getting away from that violent overthrow of democracy part of it. So I'm going to go Trump. I mean, at least I'd be like, if I had talked to somebody for an hour, I'd be like, do you realize what you did? I mean, he's not going to.
No, he probably still don't. No, yeah.
But Ted Cruz would be trying to make jokes and stuff. Right? Even Rush Limbaugh would be like, look at this and be like, that Ted Cruz came from me, and be a little disappointed.
Maybe I did a little too much of it, you know. I don't know
that that's true. I'm going to take it back. He might be disappointed that he becomes so famous, but Rush Limbaugh's audience was full of Ted Cruz's. It was full of a lot of people that he got into their brains.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
But there was a lot of Ted Cruz's in that, and how Ted Cruz became Ted Cruz, I will never know, because he's just another Rush Limbaugh listener, and somehow now he may be president, Jackie. I mean, you can't say he's too unlikable to be president. Trump has been president. Tucker Carlson is Fox News' highest rated show. You can't say that Ted Cruz can't become president in this country. You can't. This is a country. You get caught saying the N-word, more people buy your records. You can't say that people will elect Ted Cruz president to own the libs, and then he has to own the libs as part of them owning the libs. It's owning the libs all the way down. It's just gross and meta.
Now, on the show, Cheers, that theme song, they didn't tell a story about none of it. They didn't make no sense. They didn't say he used to be a baseball player. Was it a baseball player? What was it saying? Baseball player, then they got drunk, and then they bought a bar. Mm-hmm. That song is a good song. It's a good theme song, but they don't, you know what I mean? It don't tell a story.
But it describes the location. You want to go where everybody knows your name. It describes the location. It doesn't tell a story.
Norm is the only one everybody said his name out loud. Maybe it's a show about him. Is it just his song? Is he singing it in his head? What is it?
It's about us, Jackie. We want to go where everybody knows our name, which is Cheers.
Well,
I don't know. We know their names.
I like looking at it on TV, but would I really want to be there and Carla be rude to me and sit around those people for a few minutes? Sure, I'd laugh at them, and I know the show wasn't longer than 30 minutes, but if I was really there, about 10 minutes before I, find another place to go drink, I think, me personally.
Hell must have the worst radio station.
All right.
Just Rush Limbaugh's on there right now. It's hot here. I thought it was hot. I don't know. Hillary's crew neck. I don't know. I don't know what he would say. I can't really do it. He talked for a long time, though. He just keep going.
I think what hell would be for him is a place where, the people respect women and the racism is not, an overall concern. It seems like that'd be the one place that he would not know how to function and know what the hell. On fire, too, yes. On fire, please. But if he was stuck in a situation where that was a world and, he wouldn't have no traction there, wouldn't be nothing he could do. If he's in hell, that's what I think that is.
It may just be him getting fired from radio stations over and over again.
Over and over again, every day, yeah.
Every day he goes in. He gets hired at the end. He gets fired, and then he has to go to like a smaller station, and the next day he gets fired from there. That's just nobody listening. Not one person. Not one person listened to me yesterday. In all of hell, there's not one person. That's what he had for 3 hours. I guess I am a loser. My hateful thoughts about humanity, my guesses for how low we could sink, have proven to be my undoing. I must suffer eternity with no one listening to me. He gets fired. Nobody gets fired next day. No one wants to hear this shit. I am incapable of changing up my routine. I am on fire. Not figuratively, for I am failing at everything I do, but I am literally on fire, flames licking at my calves as I realize the burden of my miserable, hateful personality. Saxophone come on. What was his theme song? It'd be who? What, like the Pretenders?
Oh yeah, ladies, rock and roll lady.
Oh, man.
She's a woman, but she said her daddy. She let him do it because her daddy loved the show.
Oh.
But if it was me, I said, Daddy, you don't need to be so damn racist. You can't have that song. That's what I'd say. You know,
Daddy ruined my song. I tell you, who's happy Rush Limbaugh's dead is Chrissy Hind.
As well as some other, a few more.
I know there are a lot of people. Let's be
people.
honest, a lot of people are.
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. Now, Different Strokes. Remember that? Didn't it tell the whole story of how he adopted them youngins?
Hold on, let me think. The world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
Right.
Well, might be right for you, but not be right for some.
No, it don't. That already, that's just confusion. That ain't telling the story of nothing right there.
Oh, but
So
wait.
What?
A man is born.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stories.
Well, yeah, that's the beginning of it, but there's 4 lines into the song now.
A man is born. Well, the first part may just be a preamble.
Well, you ain't got time for that. It's a TV show theme song. Either tell the story and get out. You only got so long. If you ain't singing
how they think today. Back in, they take 17 minutes to tell the song. You ever watch H.R. Puffin stuff?
What?
A man is born. He's a man of means. Okay, well, now we're talking about Mr. Drummond.
Mr. Drummond. Hey, yeah,
starting to click.
All right.
Then along come 2. They got nothing but their jeans.
That's Willis and Arnold, right?
Sounds weird now. Yeah.
Now, what the little girl was she his by natural birth, or what did he adopt her? Because there's a little girl too.
I believe she was his daughter with a woman who had passed away.
I see. Okay.
Or maybe just was never mentioned on the show. Maybe she was in another room. TV shows used to be different.
Point being that in the song they don't bring her up. They don't explain her, right?
Well, nobody's expecting them to be like, and Kimberly's mom got real sick. Like,
so they
first that brings everybody down.
The one woman on the show, the one female, let's just not bring her up, right?
Well, Mrs. Garrett was on the show. She's not in there either. Kimberly's not in the show. You're absolutely right, Jackie. Once again, per usual, you're right. They don't mention the sister. They don't mention the housekeeper, the 2 women on the show, the sister and the housekeeper.
Miss Garrett went on, had her own show. I don't think he sang about her either.
Full of women. It was full of women.
Full of women. Not one of them brought up in the song. Facts of life, on and on. They don't say it,
You take the good.
Take the bad.
You take them both.
And there you have.
The facts. Again, that is a little mystical, but it was the 70s. I feel like people were sort of finding
That's
themselves.
the 80s, ain't the 70s, is it? That's the 80s.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's the 80s. That's early 80s. That come out after. Back in, every show, which I guess I still do sometime, but every damn show had 4 shows come. If a show worked, well, Happy Days, how many you get from that? You Laverne Shirley, Mindy.
There's one with the angel. Nobody even talks about with the angel on it.
Which Happy Days, that don't say nothing about none of them. It just days of the week.
It sets the theme. It sets it all up, but it doesn't have to tell a story. Sometimes, Jackie, and this is as a professional songwriter, something I've learned. Sometimes you can tell a story better by not telling the story at all.
Well, I don't particularly like that in my TV viewing. I don't need all that. Jefferson's made sense, and moving on up, have made a lot of money. They moved out of wherever they used to live to the high rise. Remember when people used to sing? Remember Archie Bunker? He used to sing his own song. Remember?
Yep, save money.
Save money. Just have him do it. Don't get a big old band and go and record studio. Just, maybe we could do it like that if you get the keyboard out or something. Maybe we could, all they had to sit there on the piano and sing it themselves. How many people used to sing their own songs? They should do that more often.
Hey, Jackie.
Don't start now. I didn't mean to do it now. Do it when people don't have to listen to it.
That's a B chord.
What is it?
It's a B chord.
Yeah, I don't know all my notes.
Jackie, and also, just to correct you, it's my favorite part of the show.
Why?
The Facts of Life debuted August 1979, you dumb butt.
Hey, so when did Different Strokes come on? 79, 80, what's the difference?
Different Strokes come on, dear listener. Different Strokes come on 1978. Oh, wow. Is that right? I guess so.
What about Webster?
God damn it, Jackie. I ain't got time to look up every... All right, hang on, Webster.
I don't know Webster's theme song either. I don't know about it. I don't remember that one. That one's not one in my head.
Come on, 1983.
How many shows you had a white family adopt a young black man or boy? When did that come on? I mean, that was something that was on regular, right?
Yeah, you could watch that 2 or 3 times a week if you wanted to. That's the 70s. And folks, if you like listening to us talk about old TV shows, you probably want to go over to our Patreon page where we do this more often than not. I'm not saying every time you listen to 20 extra minutes with Jackie and Dunlap, which can be yours on a weekly basis if you give us $5 or more a week on our Patreon. But I am saying you more than likely going to hear us at least bring up Beretta or something every week. That's at our Patreon page. You can give us $1. We appreciate it. We got people just wanting to support us. Hey, Jackie, here's $1 for you. Here's $1 for Jackie. I thought he was funny this week. Here you go. I may have to cancel next month. That's okay. We appreciate this $1. We ain't greedy.
No, sir. We appreciate anything you get. If you give $5 more, you can hear us 20 extra minutes of this, which I should save it for that. But I used to think Beretta's theme song was about his bird. But then I got to thinking it says sparrow, and there's a cockatiels, I think is what it's called. So that was confusing to me.
You ever eat a cockatiel?
No, you don't eat them. Those are pets.
Everything.
Well, you can eat a cat. You can have a cow full of pets, still eat it, and a goat, on and on, pig. Yeah, so I guess you could eat one, but I think they cost a pretty penny. I don't know how much, one of them. I think it cost more than a undercover detective could afford, but maybe he inherited it or something. I don't know why he had it. But I used to think keep an eye on a sparrow. Yeah, that's his bird. No, that ain't a sparrow. That's that's 70s, right? That's 70s.
I don't want to eat a cockatiel. I was just wondering if you had.
No, I wouldn't eat one. I ain't ever been. If I was, starving to death and we were trapped under, in rubble or something, that's all I had.
You used to eat a bunch of stuff I wouldn't eat now.
Well, it wasn't a damn a pet shop bird. I didn't eat that. Eat a canary or anything. Hardly, cocktail bigger. The canary wouldn't be enough to eat. That'd be one bite. It'd be over with.
Put it on a roll or something.
Well, yeah, like a little crystal or something.
Again, I don't want to eat any of this. I was just wondering if you'd ever eat some of it.
No, I don't know why you think I'm eating all the pet shop bird pets. I wouldn't do it.
I don't know. I thought maybe I used to run wild in Tennessee or something when you was a little kid.
I don't eat nothing. I don't eat nothing that can count from 1 to 10 out loud or say hello to you. I don't. That's not. I ain't gonna eat it. cocktail count, I heard one count from 1 to 10. It took a long time. It took about 20, 30 minutes, but it was persistent and got one.
Did it know that there was it was being timed? It might have sped it up.
I don't think so. I think it just, learning its numbers or whatever. I don't know. But either way, the fact it can count from 1 to 10, that means something. I mean, there's something going on in the brain. You can say it out loud.
Listen, there was a time when you and me both couldn't count to 1 to 10 when we were little babies.
When we was little babies, I don't know how old the cocktail bird was, but it, old enough to count from 1 to 10 and say hello.
This goes to show you.
It was somebody told me it could do it, by the way. Somebody said he can count to 1 to 10. I said, oh, that'd be something. Let's say yeah. I didn't know it was going to last that long.
What'd you do?
Well, I sit there and be polite about it. But and at the same time, it was still a little eerie. It's taking a while, but by the time it gets to 4, it's like, well, hell, it knows what it's doing, I guess. And, and then it just gets as long and drawn out, like you see Bird putting things together in his head. What comes after 4? 5 comes 5. And it just kept on going up, went to 10. Sure enough, I didn't know it was going to take that long, but I guess the fact that it was as slow, it took as long as it did, made it that much uneasy feeling or whatever. Eerie. I don't know how to describe it. It's not, you just concerned.
Like a Netflix show.
What?
You get invested in it. Even though you know it's taking too long. And you can't turn back now. Because, it's a bird counting to 10. It's just like they could have done it in a couple of hours. It didn't need to be 10 episodes.
Oh, wait, he did it backwards, too. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's why it took so long. I mean, it still took a long time to get to 10, but then he said, you want him to do it backwards? At that point, yes, I've been sitting there for a while, but I'm like, well, hell, if I'm watching it this long, let's see if they can do it. Sure enough, it did.
Whose bird was this? Is it still alive? I want to see this. You really selling it? I'll go watch a bird count.
Oh, that bird long dead. That was years ago when this happened. This back in this wasn't the 70s, the 80s. The 80s when Philip daughter. Philip daughter come in the store every now and used to bring a bird. And everybody like it. If there were kids in there, say, oh, yeah. He said, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Get it riled up. Get it concerned, but he'd sit on his hand or his shoulder and everything, But yeah, that I remember. Like, I said, "What are you doing?" He was the bird accounting, and people coming up. What are you doing, Jack? I said, "Listen." And then he'd be having.
Is the daughter still alive?
I ain't. She moved away years ago. I don't know if she moved up to Michigan. I think.
Wait, Philip's daughter or Philip's daughter?
Philip's daughter's daughter.
Oh.
His name is Dodder, Dodder.
Philip's
Philip's daughter was the one that had the bird. It was him, Philip's daughter. His daughter, I think's name was Millie. I can't remember. But anyhow, she moved up to Michigan. It wasn't her bird, though. She didn't have nothing to do with it. Maybe she taught it, had it count or something when she was a youngin', but yeah.
Huh. Man. Them birds scary. They can be scary. I don't like it.
I mean, literally putting 2 and 2 together, figuring something out. And, of course, countdown's always scary either. Counting up to 10, that's one thing. But when 10 coming down to 1, then something usually happens. When you get to 1, like, wait, what's going to happen? It's like an eerie, just a scary feeling. It just, that animal's looking at you and working it out in his head and knowing,
Did they let you feed it?
I give a peanut or something like that, and then it's sunflower seeds.
You used to carry peanuts in your pocket.
Sunflower seeds, yeah. That was for animals out front of the store too. You just toss them out there. They had squirrel, everything. I always like animals. I didn't like them in the store. I had the
parking lot was okay.
Parking lot was fine as long as cars that tried to give a certain section for them. To, I wouldn't throw it out. Any car could get them. It's over to the side, but still, like, I had that. People didn't understand. I thought it was a handicap, but it had like a squirrel painted. People saw it was a handicap. But no, handicap on the other end. That's for, animal area, feeding area. And I'd get on people too. I know you remember. So I ain't going to be in there. I'm just coming in. You sit back up here. I ain't going to be there a minute. So, well, in a minute, squirrel, whatever it is, may be hungry. You need to park on the other, You wasted time by trying to argue about the damn parking spot for animals. Could have been in and out with your bed if you parked on that. It just makes me mad. I remember it. I don't even deal with it no more, but it still just gets on my nerves.
Are you thinking of somebody in particular? Or
it's 4 or 5 of them, like it. People just,
some of them did it on purpose just to wind you up.
Me getting my bed is more important than the animal eating a bird ever eating anything. All God's creatures. That's how I feel about it.
Peanuts in your pocket and you're feeding all the squirrels.
Now, see, that ain't about what we talk about. If you was trying to tell my story in a song, that's not what it needs to be. It needs to be that these two sit on here and they talk about this and that, that sort of thing. Don't really get into yes, this and that could be feeding a squirrel peanut, but usually politics and things like that. I guess you'd have to have two separate songs, one for this and then one for the one would talk for 20 minutes about whatever.
Yeah. I think we might want a little something that doesn't really get into the specifics of it, but it's more like, make you think about something like the sun goes down and the sun comes up and every day's a little different. Now, Jackie Bros and Dunlap going to the podcast, something like that. Where you're like, well, life goes on, or life can be hard, or respect the elderly, or life could be short when you're with an elderly person, that sort of thing.
Wow.
Like you never know when somebody's like an elderly person.
Right.
Something like that. Like, hold on to what you got because you never know when it's not enough or whatever. Something like that.
What the hell
like a riddle maybe. Like,
all right.
How many times have you ever said hello to a friend?
Say this, so you can insult my age on the 20-minute one. And we thank all of y'all. Give us $5 a month. Y'all can listen to that. Hope you enjoy it. If you enjoy him insulting me, so be it. We appreciate the contribution. It helps keep the computers running and the cords are plugged in and however else it all works. But also we do local sponsors here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Some of you are from here, I'm sure. Some of you may have drove by and visited, or you just looked out the window, whatever. Some of you probably never been here. But if you plan on coming right now, people probably should be quarantined for the most part, I'd say. Still, I don't think we're still ready to, I know people getting shots and everything, but right now is not the time to travel, in my opinion. I still don't think it is. Plus, you probably iced in wherever you're at. It's bad everywhere. Texas is extra bad, but it's bad everywhere. So we hope all of you, no matter where you're from, especially Texas, of course, currently, we hope you're all doing all right. We thank you for listening to this. And I got a good sponsor for this week. I tell you what, this is something else, and I like this pushed together what we need to do, country coming together. Now, you've heard plenty of people, right, Dunlap, saying, I don't want to get no vaccination. I don't know what's in it.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to put it in my arm. Next thing you know, they're going to have all my bank account numbers. I don't know how that works, but somebody said, they put something, serum in your brain. Well, you tell them that or whatever. I don't know. But you're supposed to get vaccinated right now. We're in the middle of a terrible pandemic. It's the numbers are coming down a little bit, but I think it's not because people getting vaccinated. People finally doing what you're supposed to do. Wear a mask, don't go out, don't do nothing. Now, here in Murfreesboro, pretty much everything's open to do whatever, right? I mean, I think at this point, I can't think of any place that ain't open. Big Lots is open.
Not if they know what's good for them.
Well, anyhow, be wary. If you got to get out, just make sure you sanitize your hands and wear a damn mask. Just put a mask on your face. Who's a woman? I don't know what state it is. She won't put on a mask. They got in a glass box. Who pays for that?
I have not heard this story. I'm going to tell you, I ain't been paying that much attention to Twitter this week.
Well, good for you. Now, there's
some for the glass box. I don't know.
There's some woman in a glass box. She won't wear a mask. She don't wear no mask, don't wear a mask. And I can't remember what state it is, whatever. I mean, that doesn't sound that outrageous, does it? Amanda Chase, where's she? That's her name. Amanda Chase. And I don't know nothing about it. So I don't know why I brought it up. She'll have a glass box around her at the Science Museum.
Amanda Hug and Kiss?
Amanda Chase. That's what Amanda Hug.
Different. Amanda Chase, so it's different. Yeah. It's close.
She brought a doctor's note saying she can't wear a mask. There's a lot of doctors saying that. Like, no, can't make this person wear a mask. She suffers from freedom too much. No, sir.
Amanda Chase won't put her in a glass box. I said, yeah. Amanda Chase has like a Little Abner character.
It does.
Thinking of, or maybe was she one of the Clampets? That's where I get confused.
Amanda Chase, a Clampett.
Amanda Chase. Well, wait, she's a Virginia state senator. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, in a glass box. How much? Okay. Yeah. At the doctors can't wear a mask, but sure, put in a glass box. She'll thrive in that. I don't know how I got on that. And then wear your mask is what I was trying to say. That's it. But a lot of Murfreesboro businesses, throwing caution to the wind. They have since the beginning. Some people, you can't tell people nothing. You can't tell nobody nothing. They're going to believe what they're going to believe. I don't want a vaccine. I don't want this. Government ain't going to tell me to do this and on. But I tell you what, the government, you want a good argument for that argument there, which you get a lot here in Murfreesboro, I'm going to say right now. A good argument for that is, well, you may not want to get no shot that the government gives you, or some vaccine that you don't know what's in, but I bet you probably have a nice little belt, a little shot, little whiskey, little tequila, little whatever it is you drink. Well, sure. Well, now them two go together, and I mean two for sure. Two. That's right. Gentleman Jim's Twos is having a special right now. 2 shots for 2 shots.
What?
Gentleman Jim's 2 is having right now 2 shots for 2 shots. Get on it while you can. They're encouraging everybody to get out, get vaccinated.
Yeah, you need a shot before you go into Gentleman Jim's 2.
Well, you don't need a shot. You go in there either way. If you go in there and you hadn't had no vaccination, you're gonna be paying out your pocket. But I tell you what,
you need like a hep. See, you need a lot of shots before you go into Gentleman Jim's 2.
But don't necessarily have to do pandemic. You're right about
that.
No,
not at all. But you need a lot. You need to be up to date.
Well, if you're up to date and even more up to date, you went and got the Pfizer vaccine and you got your 2 shots. Well, tell you what, get down there. You got 2 free shots are coming to you at Gentleman Jim's 2s. That's right. Get down there. Get down Gentleman Jim's 2 if you've had your second shot. Or, well, it says here if you had your first shot, you come down and get 1 shot. So you can do that too. But really, I mean, why not save up? If you're going to get 2, I'd rather have them both back to back, I guess. Well, I don't know. I'm up there in age, which most of the people here in Rutherford County, Murfreesboro area, most of us is either healthcare workers or people of a certain age that have had the vaccine. People waiting on it for everybody to get it. They try, hurry it up, Joe. We're trying to get it going. So most people, with my age, I hear they go down there, they're ready for 2 shots. I have about 1 and they can't do the other one because they get, you get up in age, you get drunk fast, especially depending on what you're drinking. Hell, young man get drunk off a shot of certain things,
Yeah, is it any shot? You get a shot, anything in there?
Pretty much anything behind the bar, which, be careful there because some of it you're familiar with and they have stuff. Gentleman Jim got a special, Gentleman Jim 2 shot, which I don't know what all goes into that, but good Lord.
Some of it, there's a bucket back there and a dipping going.
They dip in it, yeah. And you don't have to worry about getting no diseases or nothing because that stuff's so potent. You know what I mean? That kills. I feel bad for any germ, even coronavirus, try to get in the bucket of that because you dead get close to it. You just smell it.
They got to change the bucket out on that every couple of days, not for cleanliness, but just because they eat through it.
Eat right through it, yeah. You say,
I've been in there and I've heard a splush. Like, what was that? And they go, oh, hell, we lost the bucket. I told you to fucking change that. I know it. I was going to do it. Hell. So I seen daylight coming through that hole. I said, well, we got to do that this afternoon. And then before you know it, you turn around all over the floor. We lost the bucket right out the hole. And they said, well, now that costs, how much this bucket cost me? $7. It's everything, bucket and everything in it. Now I'm at $7.
Yeah.
And you can't call whoever makes that up because they ain't got a phone, not a landline, not a cell phone, not a pager. You got to drive out into a holler.
Well, be careful how you talk about this because I ain't gonna tell no tales out of school. But there's a lot of belief, I guess, the owners of there's establishment Gentleman Jim's too that they the one here in Murfreesboro, Gentleman Jim's too, that some people are claiming that's a sinkhole for whatever government handout. I ain't gonna say one way or the other, but I ain't too sure about that.
They say what now?
Something about zoning, something to do with the county. They're saying the hole, which we just said, which I don't want to repeat, how that hole come about. You and I know that. Most people know it. But some people are claiming that there's a sink, it's just always a sinkhole. Well, it ain't. It's this stuff eating through the bucket, going through the floorboards, everything.
Oh!
All that stuff.
That makes sense.
Well, yeah, it does.
I didn't know we had sinkholes on here. We've been talking about sinkholes for about.
No, there's a different one, but it ain't the one you was dealing with, whatever the means, whether it be, otherworldly or whatnot. That was a sinkhole. You could, wherever it went, it was still, you pointed out, sinkhole. This here, some people want you to think it's a sinkhole, but it ain't,
it's just what's going on the floor.
Yeah. You just eat through
I see.
Eat right through.
I think also by mentioning the sinkholes in the other ones that we have, the other sponsor segments, and establishing that Jim and Jim's 2 clearly is an establishment in the same place as those establishments, shields us from any legal action that Jim and Jim's 2 might take.
Certainly. Absolutely. Yes. It exists in the same world in which we discuss regularly here.
Why wouldn't it? Well, that wouldn't make it. I don't even know what we're talking about now.
Me either. I don't know.
I just don't want to get sued by. I can't imagine they even show up with lawyers, or they just somebody come in there like I'm representing Jim and Jim 2, and they got like a bat with chicken wire on it, and they just go for it, counselor.
I was about to say, if somebody caught wind of this and didn't want you to say it on here, the best you could do is just stay out of Gentleman Jim's 2, which is other reasons to do that as well. Again, more than the vaccine, on and on. But if you've had your 2 shots, if you're of age, I don't want to encourage healthcare workers. I want them to encourage healthcare workers to continue to get your shots, get you both shots. Y'all need it as much as anybody else. We appreciate your business. But, I wouldn't suggest that if you're a healthcare worker, go down there because you don't need 2 shots. You need to. Hopefully, you're busy on the job. There's some people.
Self-care is important.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's.
And in this case, I don't know if that means going in for a couple of drinks or staying the hell out of that bar.
I'm saying probably just if you want a couple of drinks, wait till you get off duty, have a couple at home is what I'm saying. Probably don't need to go down there like Denny Floric did. Now, he was a EMT driver. He got fired because he went down there to get his 2 free shots, and I think he stayed a little longer than that. Said, well, hell, that tasted good. Let me get 4 more. And, so don't tempt yourself is what I'm saying. Just don't.
We're not encouraging anybody to go in any business for the record.
Absolutely. Now, if you've had your 2 shots, you may want to stay on the safe side, stay home, stay masked, same old till, we get us all worked out. But
are you saying the 2 shots makes it okay to go into bars?
No, I'm not. I'm telling my sponsor is, not me personally. I took the took $25, Jim and Jim's 2 shots for 2 shots.
So you took $25 to endanger the health of everybody in Murfreesboro.
It's your option. You're responsible for yourself. I'm even giving the right advice. I'm saying stay home. Maybe down the road.
You're Dr. Fauci's nightmare. His main nightmare is just Trump showing up at his house saying, "I'm president again. Get in the car." But his second nightmare is you telling everybody get your 2 shots and then go out to Jim and Jim's 2 and get 2 shots for 2 shots.
That's the deal they got going. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Ain't got nothing to do with Dr. Fauci and anybody else with reasonable advice.
Now, can I go down? How do you prove it? Can I just go down there and be like, yeah, I had them. You want to see a hole in my ass or what?
Well, first they were just taking people's, word for it, but people were just putting a Band-Aid on the arm and going down there. So now I think you got to take some sort of prove it. It's written. Send them my emails or something on paper. I don't know how you prove it. I ain't,
I'm going to say they're not a stickler. Maybe they will be now. Maybe they will be now when it comes to giving away free booze.
Well, yeah, nowadays, yeah.
Usually you can kind of show up with like a manila folder of paperwork. Say, I don't have a driver's license to show you, but here's the documentation that proves why it's legal for me not to have one. I said, hell, just go on in. Again, this is Gentleman Jim's 2 with a sinkhole eat through the bucket into the floor, and that sinkhole more than likely connects to the network of sinkholes that we've discussed recently on this program. This is that Gentleman Jim's 2.
That one, yeah. The one.
I don't even know. Do they spell it with a Y? They might spell it with a Y for all I know.
Where they put the Y at?
Not sure. I'm just saying,
Could be,
just so that we can plausible deniability.
How do they spell 2? Is it the number 2? Is it the 2, or is it the Roman number 2, or is it TWO? It could be any of those.
Could be TOO.
We'll need to look into it and find out which one it ain't and say that that's what it is, which we'll
will. Call down there.
We will call down. You called down there before.
We called on our Patreon show. We called down there.
You won't call down there right now? This time, hold it up to the thing so they can hear it. You won't call? Just ask them how to spell. Well, no. They don't want to hear that. They ain't got time for that.
Folks,
save that for the 20 extra minutes. We're going live call to the Gentleman Sims 2 that may or may not be the one which we are discussing currently right now that has a sinkhole in it.
Hey, let me tell you, we're not promising anything, but you never know when we're going to call Jim and Jim's 2.
It can happen.
20 extra minutes. It can happen at any time.
Or whether it's the real one or the one.
More than likely. Yep.
Or the other one.
Which is a real one, too.
Yeah, who's to say?
I mean, this is real.
We're
living in a reality.
That's true.
We live in a society.
So if you live in this reality, which we often discuss and share and talk about, many sponsors here in Murfreesboro, if you've had your 2 vaccination shots, got your second one, what better way to celebrate than go down to Gentleman Jim's 2 shots for 2 shots.
And as a gentleman spelled gentleman, MYN.
It could be, yeah.
That's where the Y is.
I see, yeah.
Hell, it's just old people got it. They drunk as hell.
Well, I said most of the old people my age go in there and had the shot. They don't need the second one.
I just go in there and pick their pockets.
No, don't. Why would you say that? Don't.
Well, I'm just saying you survive coronavirus. You go down there and get drunk as hell. Maybe you need to wise up. Teach you a lesson. Stay home. In there drinking. That bartender, hell, they ain't got coronavirus. They might. But you don't need to be in there making them serve you.
Well, again, if they're serving what's in the bucket, then you ain't going. You get cleaned out. I wonder if somebody used that in the vaccine. That had to do something. Of course, now I sound like a former president. Put a light up in you. Put some of that in you. But this stuff, when he said like drink Windex or whatever, this stuff is like really, really doing it because you do drink it.
Girdle who used to work down there. She showed me. She lost a fingernail. She said that shit it cakes up in there, and then your fingernails just pop off. She's laying in bed one night and she thought something jumped up off her hand. She said she thought it was a bed bug. It was her little fingernail. So it ain't nothing. It's scientifically proven to fuck you up. So it might help.
Don't say it like that. Just don't say jams. 2 shots for 2 shots. Limited time until I guess everybody gets vaccinated because they can't do it forever, right now. And again, like I said, most people are old enough to go down there. If you work in healthcare, you either lose your job and they can't keep on drinking, or if you're old, you ain't going to have but one. Either way, get a designated driver. First and foremost, above all else, get a designated driver, get you down there. Whoever drove you to
2 people in a car during coronavirus time. That's what you want.
If you want to give the driver, but that's the point. You're defeating the point. If you give the driver the second shot, don't do that because they don't need to drink.
I don't think you thought this through when you took it.
It ain't me thinking it through. It's them. Why you made it me? I'm dude. They're the sponsor. They should have thought it through.
You sound like Facebook right now. I didn't know they was going to overthrow the government. I just took their money.
Well,
They took out an ad. Facebook said, let's overthrow the government. And I connected them with all the other people who wanted to overthrow the government, but I didn't know they wanted to overthrow the government. My name's Mark Zuckerberg, Jackie Bros.
Oh, shut your mouth.
Jackie, I got a sponsor this week that I think you're really going to like. This is a good, feel-good story. Remember back at the beginning of this when the world was falling apart and we said, you know what, we need some feel-good stories. And then John Krasinski made a lot of money off that idea. And then we got used to feeling bad and we said, we don't need any more feel-good stories. Let's just waller in it.
All right.
Morgan Waller, is that his name? So I said, you know what? It's time again. It's been almost a year since we've been in lockdown. It's coming up on it, Jackie. It's anniversary time. And I'm here to tell you, deserve a little good news.
Yeah.
What was it you used to do on here before they stole it from you?
I don't know. I got upset about that. That man just took it right from me. And yeah.
Bad news.
It's his now, yeah.
But here's something just to make you think, oh, well, that ain't so bad. That's what we'll call it. That ain't so bad.
All right.
Stug Roombatussin works down at the Roombatussin farm. They've been farming for years. You know the Roombatusins and family.
I know Roombatussin. I'm trying to remember if I can play Stug.
Well, he's one of the younger ones. He's 30-something.
Oh, I might not know him. I mean, when I saw him, he probably 14, 15 when they used to come in there, but they ain't been in, the store. It's been a long time. But
well, here's some good news, whether you know him or not. You know his daddy, granddaddy, they had that farm down there for a long time. He's running it now. It's the Stug Show down at Roombatussin Farms, and he says, I got some news, Dunlap, you might want to share on your damn podcast. It ain't that bad. I said, well, what is it, Stug? He said, I think it's pretty good. I said, well, I'd love to hear it. He said, well, I won the contest that they were having. The Tennessee 30-something Farmers Association had a contest. Said it was where you sit down and you write something out. What do you call that kind of contest? Where you write a paragraph about why you love farming so much?
Paragraph contest.
And he won a freight tractor. He won a Tracto Field Liminator.
All right.
And he said, all I wrote about was how farming was in my blood and hard times and my family and how I wanted to really keep it going. And before I knew it, I wrote a whole paragraph. I sent it off to the Tennessee 30-something Farmers Association. And before you knew it, they said, you come in second place. You got a Tracto Field Liminator. I guess the first place got the Tracto Field Liminator 2000.
Okay.
They're about the same, but I think one has Wi-Fi in it.
Oh, better warranty too, I bet.
Oh, yeah, probably a warranty. Well, here's the thing.
Better one, they both got warranty, but newer one, the better, I think. Could pay more for it, though. You end up paying more for it.
Yeah, you might be better off with a worse warranty and no Bluetooth.
That's true, yeah.
But he won the Tennessee 30-something Farmers free tractor contest, paragraph contest, won Tracto Field Liminator, Stug Roombatussin. That ain't so bad, is it? That's pretty good news. He doesn't get to keep it. It's not, he found that out, but he said, you know what? What else could a poor old farmer want from a contest?
He don't get to keep it. What do you mean? How they win it? If you don't get to keep it, then you didn't win nothing.
Well, farming's in his blood, Jackie, and he doesn't get to keep it. He gets to keep he gets to keep it for 5 months or 70 hours of tractoring.
He gets to borrow it
with a chance to buy it.
Well, that's a lease, isn't it? That's when you lease.
I guess he won a lease on a tractor.
Well, let's just say it that way then.
That ain't so bad.
I didn't say it was. It just ain't winning the tractor outright. You win a lease on a tractor. That's something totally different than winning the damn tractor by itself.
Here's the damn thing about it, though. He loves this fucking tractor so much, Jack.
Watch your mouth.
He ain't never had nothing this good. A tractor field eliminator, even if it ain't the 2000. He says he's already used up. It's only 70 hours in it, and he has to give it back. He's already used up 69. He says he's already up to 60. I'm just going to say 68. He's already up to 68 hours on it. He said just riding it around because he loves it so much. He said it ain't got Bluetooth, but he can just jack it in there. He's been listening to his phone.
Wow.
He's been listening to music on his phone. His tractor says, Dunlap, I love it so much. I love his tractor field eliminator. I ain't got the money to buy it from him. They hook you on this. I thought I was winning a contest. Now I'm like a drug dealer or something. It's tractor.
Hey, tricky, yeah.
Tennessee 30-something Farmers Tractor Field Eliminator Corporation. They got this boy on the line. They got him on the hook. They reeled him in. Now he ain't got no money. So Stug, he has no history in baking nor sculpture. But to raise money and to help put Murfreesboro on the map, he wants to build the world's largest cornbread man.
What?
What part of that did you not understand?
Well, he did. He wanted a lace on a tractor and what cornbread? What, man?
He wants to be. He's like, if I build a tourist attraction here on our land, the Roombatussin Farms, people come from miles around. I'll charge them $5 to see the world's largest cornbread man.
World's largest? How big is the one that's got? I didn't know there was one regular size.
I don't think there is one, but he wants to make sure it's big in case somebody else comes up with the idea.
Gingerbread man. Everybody knows that. That's a children's story. Gingerbread man.
Thing.
Ain't no cornbread man.
He's gonna make a cornbread man, world's largest cornbread man. He needs some money. So what he's doing, he's raising money. So go to Stugroombatussin. I gotta look it up. I don't know what it's dot. It ain't com. It's like one of the ones that's a country. It's a weird one. It's like TZ or something like that. That's all he could afford. So Stugroombatussin.com or he's raising money and he needs money. He needs some Martha White and some milk. And he's not sure exactly how he's going to do it. And he also needs something to spray on it to keep birds from eating it. He thinks that's going to be his main problem.
Why can't it just look, if I'm driving down the road and I see a sign off the side that says, come see the one and only cornbread man, I'm going to want to pull in and see what that is. What is cornbread? Is it like a mascot? Is it like a Ronald McDonald, Costa? Which that's good too if it's that. I don't necessarily think it has to be actual cornbread. But why the biggest, largest one? He don't even need to go that far. Just make a regular size cornbread man. That's going to be impressive enough to most people. All right, make him 6'2", 6'3", a little bit bigger, but still, that in itself is going to be. That's anybody be impressed with that.
I know it, but that ain't the way Stug operates.
How big is he talking about making it then? Like, does he got if he's trying to break a world record, whatever the hell he's doing? Again, trying to get business. People done that for years and years. Biggest ball of twine, biggest dinosaur head, whatever. People do it all the time. Off the side of the highway, people pull in and look at anything, any old thing, just about. But how does he have a size in mind? Is it, he can't just say the biggest one, because maybe the biggest one that already was 6'2", 6'3", and now he's just gonna make 7 foot. But when you say big, giant cornbread man, whatever it was said, makes me think like King Kong or something. Like, how big is it gonna be?
Yeah, more like a King Kong size.
Now, old black and white King Kong size, a new helicopter eating. Monster fighting King Kong size, because the new one's a lot bigger.
He asked me, he didn't have, I said, you got sizes, you got specifics. He said, well, here's what I'm thinking. I could use some suggestion. How big is your granny's house? I said, hell, I don't know. It's just kind of house sized. He said, okay, that's kind of what I'm thinking for the foot.
What?
I think he thinks the foot be house sized.
What size house now? You said your granny's house?
Yeah, about my granny's house. It's regular house size.
She got a 2-story house.
It ain't the basement and all that.
Yeah. You don't count the basement. That's underneath the ground. You talk about from the ground up. If a foot's sitting on the ground, it's from the ground up. It ain't foot. Don't, I don't know if it's big, steps down, be like Godzilla, King Kong, leave a big footprint that goes down far enough to be the basement. But I don't know what this confused me more than what I've asked to begin with.
I'll be honest, I don't think he's sitting down at the table and figured it all out. I think what he's doing is he wants to get started raising money so that he can get started cooking. You
got to figure something out before you ask someone to pay for it. If I'm going to donate some money, which I ain't necessarily opposed to doing, if I want to see, you tell me how big, where it's going to be, how big you thinking, you're going to win me over with specifics. You can't be vague like, well, it's going to be the biggest one. Well, how big is that? I don't know. Is foot going to be big? Is Dunlap Granny's house? Well, that's pretty big. Is it going to be the basement? Does it go down the ground or from the ground up? What do you need? These are things I need to hear before I get my checkbook out. You know what I'm saying?
You just gotta the foot's as big as a house. How much more do you need? It's a house-sized foot of the cornbread man.
Size houses. You say Dunlap Granny's house, and so that I know how big it is. I've seen that house before because there are all sorts of houses, little houses, big mansion. I don't know.
Well, hell, maybe you need
feet, big.
He said he's going to have to hire a manager to tell people where to park. If you want that job, I can connect the two of you.
Where to park?
Well, when people start to come see the world's biggest cornbread man.
Look, I'm trying to help him out. I ain't opposed to building a job. You making it sound like I'm a bad guy here. I won't get specifics. I will get my checkbook out. I will write some money. Nothing I'd rather see. If I got a little extra money this month, what do you want to do with that? Donate to charity? Sure. Yes. A lot of people in Texas need help, water, all that stuff. Probably should do that first. But then I got a little extra on top of that extra. What I want to do that, the fun money, a little fun money. What am I going to spend that on? We say, well, you give it here and about, how long did you say it's going to take? It's going to be 6 months. It's going to be a year, 3 months. How long it's going to take? These are questions I need answered for happily. And I do. I'm leaning toward donate some money. I'm leaning to signing that check. I want Robert Tesson right there on that check. I don't got a problem with that. But in order for me to do that, and I'm guessing for a lot of other people out there, we're going to need to know some precise things. So maybe come back next week. And I ain't trying to get $25 out of them, but I'm telling you, $25 is worth it to put it. That's an investment as far as I'm concerned, because when he come back on here and give us $25 for next week and has specifics, I guarantee it ain't just going to be me, but a lot of people around Murfreesboro. You make that $25 back like that,
I'll ask him all these questions. I bet he'll get a response. He did.
I'm giving good suggestions. I'm trying to give what do you?
I hear you.
I ain't trying to run him down. I ain't saying he's doing things wrong. I'm trying.
I know it.
Well, constructive. What do you call it? Criticism.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. He did. The only other question he had, he wanted me to ask you this: would you, if worst comes to worst, would you pay to just see the world's largest cornbread man's foot?
No. Because you've already ruined it. If you said, I'm going to make the biggest foot in the world with cornbread, then maybe you got me. But you've already said, I'm making the biggest cornbread man. So when I say man, I just don't want to see a foot. He already ruined that. If he'd have just said foot to begin with, then maybe. A giant foot out of cornbread, how big? King Kong side. Well, old King Kong or new King Kong? Which one is it?
But if you just say a foot, it's just like, well, I don't want to say
giant foot.
But if you say giant cornbread man's foot, you're like, oh, that's the best foot to see.
No, you're saying man in there. I want to see all of him. I want to see both feet. I want to see legs. I want to see waist, chest, arms.
Well, maybe they're in a different field.
A what?
Maybe they're in a different field. This is just the foot. This is what you get right now.
Look, is that what he's saying then? Is that what you're saying he's saying?
No, he just got...
Okay, then you get him to answer these questions.
I think he got scared when he realized that he had to build a foot as big as a house and then the rest of it too.
Well, I think you doing him a disservice on here. You need to know all this stuff before I take a sponsor, before I take anybody $25 willy-nilly. Yeah. I want to know all at the specifics. So I want to know precisely what I didn't, you didn't hear me saying, what's the shot going to be? It's going to be 2 shots for 2 shots. 2, what kind of shot? Anything you want. Even the stuff underneath in the bucket. Yeah, certainly. Probably most of that. They told me, I knew everything there was to know, to tell about my sponsor. And again, I'm trying to give constructive criticism because
I know
I'm trying to help, not trying to hinder. I don't mean to be running you down. You keep working on this, you keep working on it, and I guarantee you. And that goes to Strug too. Tell him, there's definitely interest. There's like if this was a first sit down meeting and I'm an investor, I'm going to say, you got my attention, son. Now come back with some hard numbers. And then we're going to sit down and we're going to figure out how to make this big cornbread man or giant cornbread man together. Old King Kong, new King Kong, either one.
All right. Well, I'll go back to him. I hear you. You're right. I can't. It's very.
It ain't about being right or wrong or just trying to, help everybody out here. That's all it is.
It's just real. It's kind of up in the air a lot of this, really. Real nebulous. I'm going to go back to him. Honestly, I'm going to start off saying, couldn't you just make his money just farming real hard?
Well, these days, no. Can't nobody do it. Trade, everything else messed up. No, everybody got to have if you're farming that day, you're going to need a gimmick. And I guess a giant cornbread man is as good as any other I've heard.
I mean, a GoFundMe would work too, I guess.
What is it? The 30-something, what is it? The 30-something farmers?
Tennessee 30-something farmers. Something like that.
Every time you said that, that's they're going to be regular characters now, I have a feeling.